Hey guys, what's up? How are you all doing? I hope however you're doing, it's going well. So today's story is about a girl named Mahi, who was studying in a college in Punjab. She joined the college just to study, but what happened to her there was extremely scary. This story was shared by one of Mahi's friends, and trust me, there's a lot you can learn from it. Even if you're studying in a college somewhere else, not necessarily in Punjab, and staying in a hostel, you should definitely hear this story. This isn't just some time-passed story or a random scary tale. It teaches a lot. It shows you what kind of people might exist around you and how far some people can go just to harm you. Before I start, I want to mention, if you're hearing my voice in English or some AI-generated version instead of my original voice, you can go to the settings and change the audio language back to Hindi original, so you can hear me properly. Okay, let's start this video. Do you know every person has a certain frequency and everyone's frequency is different? Sometimes one person might see or feel or hear things that someone standing right next to them doesn't at all. This happens because of frequency. And along with this, there's something like an intuition power, which is very strong in girls. You must have heard how girls can sense if someone is looking at them with bad intentions, sometimes way faster than a guy could notice. You can call it intuition, frequency, or power, but girls naturally have this skill. Now, coming back to today's story, when I first read it, I couldn't believe it was real. I wasn't sure if I should even share it with you, but here it is. You'll have to decide for yourself what you think at the end. So Mahi, a girl from Punjab, got admission to a college for her graduation. Her schooling was from her village, and she moved to a city in Punjab for college. The name and location of the college are confidential for multiple reasons. Before joining, Mahi had heard the usual stories every student hears, that some colleges or schools are built on cemeteries, and ghosts reside there. In Mahi's college, the senior students often whispered that something terrifying existed in the campus. At first, Mahi thought these were just stories made up to scare newcomers, but soon, she realized that the seniors were serious about it. Mahi's college life started normally. She made new friends, explored new activities, and everything was exciting. The first few months went smoothly. She was pursuing a BSc in geography, so practicals often required going out into the field. The college was in a remote area, far from the city, almost isolated. Her practicals went fine initially, but the trouble began when she was assigned duties with her seniors. Most seniors weren't very nice, and the worst were two girls named Sarbjeet and Yasmeet. They were so mean that even the boys avoided them. Unfortunately for Mahi, she had to work with them. Mahi was an introverted, slightly timid girl. She preferred to stay quiet and get her work done. One night, while she was in the library preparing practical files, she heard footsteps. Looking up, she saw a girl come in and sit across from her with books. Slowly, other girls left the library, leaving Mahi alone with this girl. The girl asked Mahi what she was doing. Mahi replied she was making files. The girl then snatched the files from Mahi's hands, tore them apart, and said, "No one needs to do anyone else's work, especially seniors' work." Mahi was terrified. She realized the girl who tore the files was none other than Jasmeet. The next morning, Jasmeet came to Mahi's room demanding her files. Mahi explained that a girl had torn them, but Jasmeet got furious, began tearing all of Mahi's notebooks and files, and yelled at her. Other girls were too scared to intervene. Amid the chaos, Jasmeet tripped, hit her head on the wall, and started bleeding heavily. The warden arrived, but Jasmeet blamed Mahi. The warden, knowing Jasmeet's temper, warned Mahi and let her go. Mahi, terrified, saw the same mysterious girl who had torn the files standing silently in a corner, smiling at the blood-stained scene. Mahi tried to ignore her, but she was already deeply unsettled. Days passed, and Mahi tried to continue her life, but she remained traumatized. One day she saw that same girl staring at her from a classroom window. When Mahi tried to avoid her, the girl stopped her and said in a strange way that she was helping Mahi take revenge on the seniors. Mahi found it creepy and quickly pulled away. Then came an even more terrifying incident. Mahi was called to the chemistry lab in a supposedly empty building. When she arrived, she saw the girl standing at the window. The girl jumped off the balcony, but when Mahi reached below, no one was there. It felt unreal. Later, in a shocking revelation, Mahi discovered that the girl she saw, Manmeet, had actually died by jumping from the lab 2 years ago. Everything Mahi saw wasn't hallucination. It was the ghost of Manmeet, replaying events of the past like a live DVD. Mahi was shaken, traumatized, and confused about reality versus illusion. Even after leaving that college, Mahi still experiences paranoia and fear. She can't always distinguish between real and supernatural events, and sometimes she hears things that others cannot. Mahi eventually joined a private college and continued her studies, but the fear never fully left her. Even years later, she remains cautious and haunted by what she experienced. So, that's the story of Mahi and the ghost named Manmeet from a college in Punjab. It's a reminder that sometimes the line between reality and the supernatural can blur, and you never know what's really out there. Take care and stay safe, everyone.